John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Rocha.
I am Matt Knost.
I am fresh off a monster truck, Matt Knost. I was in Anaheim today.
Did you see? I've never been to a monster truck rally.
Neither had I till today.
How was it?
It was a lot of fun. I think it's funny that you spent a lot of time in West Virginia, and I grew up in.
Just because you're reading this
No, I'm
T-shirt?
just. You've talked about it before, but I grew up in Southern Virginia. Yet neither of us have been to a monster truck rally.
I remember Bigfoot when I was a kid.
Me too.
That was
the one.
That was the only one. There was a famous monster truck, and that was
Yes.
it. But that never compelled me. What I saw in the clips in the trailer, just like, I'm good. When they ever advertised, if I happened to see it, be like, oh, that's pretty sweet. I don't need to see that live. It's
You're
like the motocross stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was motocross stuff there as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. It looks cool as hell on TV. I can't imagine setting aside an entire day to go watch it.
It's weird. People bring their families and sit down and watch this stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess I shouldn't say weird because I don't want to offend anybody. I think it's more like it's a foreign thing to me. I would not see myself spending 3 or 4 hours
1,000%
watching this, right?
Exactly.
But I totally respect that people like that because I'm sure people look at football or NASCAR or any number of sports and go like, I don't get why people waste any time with that. Or baseball.
Have you done NASCAR?
I've never done NASCAR, but I've watched NASCAR.
Okay, I can't do that.
Yeah?
I did IndyCar. I did the Indy 5 once.
Okay.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they fly past. It's loud as shit.
Right.
And that's all. They're just driving in, an oval.
Yeah.
Boom! And they're gone for a while. And they just boom! That's all they're doing. It's cool.
Yeah, sure. It's a lot of fun.
But I can't imagine making that like my sport.
Yeah. No, I do. If I watch it, it's like a Saturday afternoon, and I got nothing else to do. I'm like, fuck, I put it on, have a beer or two, and then just fucking chill out and watch it. But it's not that often, So it's rare when I do it, but I don't mind it when I do it.
What does that mean? Because I can also say it's rare for me in that it's never happened.
Oh,
So-
well, I would not say anything's rare if I've done it.
Okay.
So, yeah, like once a year maybe I'll do it. I don't know what race
Really?
might be on. Yeah.
Sit down and watch NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. I've been in a hotel room once and just kind of sat there for 4 hours and watched NASCAR.
The only time
But I'm on my computer as well.
when Dick Trickle was new, and I saw it on ESP that they were doing updates of that, and I was like, it was the height of their reverence.
Yeah.
Before now, it's like they know they're supposed to do that. That's part of the brand.
Yeah.
This was creating the brand. It was like, this is just great. It was one after another. Like they just kept coming up with these interesting whatever. But they had their catchphrases and their personalities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But monster truck, never. Or NASCAR, never. Or it's just not going to happen.
But the Venn diagram, when you're crossing over of professional wrestling fans, horror fans, and monster truck fans, is actually bigger than you think. So I was...
Makes sense.
I mean, yeah, with professional wrestling, because now monster trucks, from what we saw today, and I know we're going to talk about the top 10 and movies and all that jazz, but like they actually, each of them has an intro, kind of like...
They have characters.
Get. Yeah, the characters. There's a Titantron. There's a get to know this driver type thing video, which I thought was fun to experience and see. We didn't stay, obviously, because the show is at 7 o'clock. We just saw the practice of them, and that was fun enough. And, of course, interviewing the writers for Zombieland Double Tap, that was fun. So all that kind of shit was great. It's like a first event for my Outlaw Nation channel. It was fun to do that.
Nice.
And it was great to be down there. But, we're here to talk about movies. I don't know, how are you?
Well, it's kind of on brand for Outlaw. Outlaw could go monster truck.
That's true. Very true.
Outlaw could be X Games.
It could be X Games. Yes.
There's a lot the Outlaw could do.
Could it be archery? I don't know if it's archery. Could it be darts?
Why
I don't
not?
think darts.
So long as there is an outlaw archer, there's an outlaw interest. So,
bullseye, motherfucker.
Have you seen the cocky bowlers?
Oh my God!
There's a couple that are just, there's one dude that wears like his hair is ridiculous and he wears these ridiculous outfits, and I've seen one where a guy like every time he bowls a strike, something just goes like crazy. This weird middle-aged dude, like, all right, whatever you got to do to sell the sport, man.
That's
to
what
get
it
people
is.
there.
That's what it is, man.
It is. You're creating a character. Hopefully, it gets more fucking coverage somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a pro tour for all kinds of stuff, like Frisbee golf.
Sure, of
There's a pro tour for Frisbee golf.
Oh, yeah. All over the place.
But that doesn't make sense to me.
Why?
Golf,
This country's open for everything, man.
I know. It's all sponsors, and then I guess maybe they have a tournament prize whenever they play these other things. But just the idea, and I think the top whatever percent makes six figures doing it.
Yeah, doing it. That's the life.
Bowlers is even more.
Yeah, because they bring a lot of attention to the game.
But they just have a higher profile. Mm-hmm. I mean, good for you.
How do you start at, like, do you think you have to start at, like in most sports, like start at 15, 12 years old becoming a bowler? Or do you think you pick it up when you're older and you just figure it out?
I'm sure you could.
Right?
So long as you're because it's all about, like, you need to just line up the perfect delivery for you.
Yeah.
So however in shape you need to be for that.
Right, to make that happen.
Yeah.
And the pressure.
If you can figure out what that motion is where you're rolling nicely, then you just kind of need to be flexible enough to do that consistently.
I'm rolling nicely.
Well, that's whenever you watch them. I mean, the release is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes off.
The spin.
It's the same. They do the same motion, just like any professional, like a tennis player. Forehand looks almost always the same type of, on backhand is the same.
Yeah. I've always wanted to play Cody because Cody's supposedly a great bowler, a good bowler, rather. Cody Hall.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to
We
challenge
don't know
him.
any other Codys.
Yeah, it's fair. I don't know if the fans are thinking anybody else.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun to play him just once, toe-to-toe, mano-a-mano.
I either do, like, I'll have like a badass game and I roll a 150, or I roll an 81.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And the badass is, my mom was in a league when I was a kid.
Oh, shit.
So, I didn't bowl every week with her.
Right.
But I'd bowl a couple times, like, here and there and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I get the gist of the game, but I never sat down to do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's like occasionally, like, I'm throwing rocks tonight, baby. I'm like, 135 coming in the 10th. Yeah, it's just like feeling good. And then it's an 80. And it's like, you keep just.
Yeah.
It's like a 9 every time. And you're like, oh, my God, man.
I'll have like the first or the second game is usually like my best game. And like you, it'll be anywhere from 120 to 150 is great. Mm-hmm. And then I start to lose it. And when I start to lose it, I start to switch balls and go like, oh, maybe I should go to a 9 or a 16 or a 12. So I'm trying all these different, and it doesn't matter. It's all irrelevant.
Well, you're in your head at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
you're not going to get out
by that point.
Yeah. Shooters got to shoot, man. You just got to keep going.
That's right. You know that.
Got to have confidence.
With basketball, you know
I think that works for any. If you're genuinely going to do that, it's only, it's a solitary sport.
Right.
Sport.
Right.
But it is that to me is closer to a sport.
Bowling is.
Well, because it's eye-hand coordination and it still takes skill to be really
and there is
good
pressure.
Yeah.
And people are playing well next to you, putting the pressure on you. So,
And when you get really good, you need to know, like, how much oil or whatever, how slick the surface is, and you, like, change up your ball and how much rotation you put on your spin and all that shit. Like, okay, I'm never going to play enough games. You know what I mean?
Just give me an idea, man, for a Rocky film about a bowler. Who's the trainer?
Well, didn't they do that with Kingpin? It's a comedy, man.
Yeah, that's a comedy.
It's bowling.
Yeah.
It's going to be a comedy.
But Woody was Randy Quaid's age around that age. He wasn't like, I'd like to say Mickey, like, I remember I used to throw rocks in the 50s. I don't know. It would be fun to see something.
It's got to be a better sport.
I just think, I don't know.
You're not
it's
wrong.
Americana.
It could be a great movie.
It could be.
Who's going to see it?
That's true. It's
a
fair
movie about
point.
bowling.
I don't know.
I don't know. Is Chris Nolan doing this? Because now you got my attention.
You're interested.
Well, I'm just saying, what name do you have attached? Denis Villeneuve? Oh, this is going to be a weird, stylized bowling movie.
Yeah, Villeneuve would be interesting, like his real epic bowling movie.
P.T. Anderson, so you just focus on all the characters in the bowling alley?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
That would be a pretty good movie.
Coen Brothers, the Coen already did it with Lebowski.
It did.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, but yes, P.T. Anderson I like.
You could do it.
I'm seeing it.
It's possible.
I'm seeing it in my head. Anyway, you guys aren't tuning in to hear us talk about bowling or monster trucks. You're tuning in to hear us talk about the top 10 movies of 2019, right?
Yes, but do we want to talk about Houston
Oh,
first?
yeah, we should. We've got some bit of news to clear up, so sit back, relax. Let's talk about this now.
Yeah, we were hoping by the time you hear this, there'll be a post on Facebook or on Twitter, and we'll have more information for you. But as of right now, we canceled the Houston shows.
Yes, take a moment to hear that. We canceled both Houston shows. We apologize.
Yes. We're working on a backup venue, and the reason we've held out a couple days instead of telling you on social media by the time you hear this is we're trying to figure out the reimbursements for the tickets and you know, everything you guys have paid so far.
Yeah.
So we'll have information for you guys going forward. It would just – the situation wasn't working out, and we didn't feel comfortable. So we were like, you know what? Let's stop this now before people pay for flights and hotels and find a situation that's more comfortable for what we're trying to do.
We just weren't happy with how things were going down. There were some promises made and promises unkept, and then some fiddle-faddle, some hijinks, some tomfoolery on a certain side of this thing. And we weren't happy with it. And we didn't like that some of the cost was being passed on to you all as top 10 people. Like, there's no way you should be paying $11 a service charge for a $25 ticket. That is way too expensive.
Highway robbery.
Exactly. And
highway robbery.
And we didn't know about that. Before we closed this deal and set it all up, they did not tell us.
Never disclosed.
That was a situation. So we felt it wasn't the right thing for us at this point.
I know. It just felt like gouging.
Yeah.
Two-show ticket was $40 and it's $22 in fees.
Yeah, we're not trying to gouge anybody who comes. We're always happy.
Had they told us it's going to be an $11 ticket fee, we would have said no.
Yeah,
okay, we'll find a different venue because that's gross.
Exactly, because we've never had this problem with any other venue in terms of overcharging, in our opinions, for a service fee for a ticket. That's ridiculous. I mean, we're not the frickin' Stones
or
anything. Yeah,
this is not happening at at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
there I can understand logistics of having to keep 40,000 seats straight.
Of course,
or whatever the case is, but it's 150 seats.
Yeah,
why are we paying $11 per? Yeah, so it was a number of different factors.
Yeah,
that some weren't disclosed and some weren't fulfilled, and it was just to the point where you know what, let's find somewhere that's going to deliver a better show for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we're in a better mood showing up to do it and everything's copacetic like it's been every other time, then we're going to deliver one of the greatest performances in the history of mankind. And we're working on backup dates.
We are.
Found some other venues and discussing ourselves, and hopefully we have some sort of answer for you soon.
Yeah. It would be nice. And we just don't want. We want you all. We know that you all work hard for your money, and we don't. And we always appreciate you spending money on the ticket to come see us. That's why we want to deliver you a good show. But we don't want to put you in a situation where you feel uncomfortable spending the amount of money you're spending to come see us. Even though we know you're going to get a great show, we don't want you feeling any ill will or just feeling like we didn't look this thing over thoroughly enough and we're passing the costs on to you. No, we care about you. You've come with us for many years. For the new ones and the old ones, you've been with us for a bit, and we respect you all so much, so we didn't want to have an issue where you all felt kind of a bit betrayed by us. We would never want that to happen between us and you all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. And so, it sucks it didn't work out.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully have the information on the reimbursements for you very soon. That's what's been holding us off now.
Yeah.
As soon as we have that information, we will pass it along immediately at facebook.com/groups/the Top 10 Show, all spelled out. Or on our Twitters at Matt Knost, at The Rocha Says.
Yes.
And at Top 10 Show. We will let you know because, we want to get you your money back, and we want you to come see us once we have that new venue set up.
Yeah, definitely.
And London, we're still coming.
Yeah, that's in the books.
Yeah, that's done. We've paid the deposit. We are coming.
May 2nd.
May 2nd, baby. That is happening.
King's Place.
The doors open at 7, shows at 8, 30 pounds. Houston, hear the excitement. That excitement will come back to you once we have that new date.
Yeah, exactly.
And so London, we are coming. Please meet us at King's Place on May 2nd. Go to kingsplace.co.uk. You can pick up your tickets there. Can't wait to do that one again. Hopefully we can get 1 or 2 shows in between now and then.
Yeah.
Brought it off pretty quick, and some more after that. And you want to jump into the show?
Let's do it. You want to tell them how it works?
Once we set a topic, which we have for this Best of 2019, we go our separate ways and create individual top 10 lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom!
Great year.
Yes. Surprisingly so in the last 3 months of the year, when I had felt like maybe it wasn't as strong as I was hoping, it really ended like gangbusters, man.
It's all over the place.
Yep.
There were some... from early summer on, there are some excellent movies this year.
Yeah.
This could easily be a top 15, top 16 kind of
year. Sure. I'd go 25 even, to be honest with you.
Well, there's a bunch I haven't seen yet. Well, a bunch, but I don't know if they'll show up on your list. So I guess I don't want to say them.
Fair enough, yeah.
And by bunch, I mean there's only 3 or 4 that I'm like, I wish I had made time for that.
Right. And we're going to talk about these films. Some of you may not have seen these, so We're going to try, I think, keep these as spoiler-free as possible.
No, we've always done spoiler in the past. So
Okay, all right. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
we're going to talk about it. We'll have time codes.
Yeah.
Down in the description.
Yeah.
So please look those time codes up if you don't want something spoiled. And all right, you ready to jump right in?
Yeah, let's do this.
A lot of choices. I do have one honorable mention, I think, for the first time ever.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like specifically, this was, I wanted to put this on. Should I go ahead and tell you that one now?
If you want, sure.
Dark Waters.
Okay. Good stuff. The Mark Ruffalo film.
Yeah. Just in that it actually changed my behavior.
Wow.
We threw out all our Teflon. And going forward, we won't use that, and we'll look out for that chemical and other things too. It had an effect on my life.
Wow.
For the better. So that's my honorable mention.
That's good.
10 is Apollo 11.
Okay.
Did you see it?
Yes, I did. I interviewed the director for Deep Cut.
Okay.
Yeah, Todd Douglas Miller. He's fantastic. Great film.
I knew what it was going into it, but yet I was still transfixed.
Yeah.
Because of all the footage I've never seen. Like, here's the different levels of mission control and going back in the back room that does this, and it's all the footage from that era, plus everything that's on the shuttle and down on the moon itself.
Yeah.
And the live timelines between the two, and you're seeing it all unfold from footage. It's great that it exists.
Yeah.
We'll have way too much of it going forward, if anything. From that time, though, it's just this singular source.
Yeah.
And it's just mesmerizing to watch, at least for someone like us, I guess, that, the space program still does something for me now. And I like that we're going back out and exploring more.
Absolutely. I lobbied really hard to get him into The Office because, one of the reasons I started that podcast, and it's now, as most of you know, I've been let go from Collider, so that podcast is in limbo. I don't know what's going to happen with the audio because I started that thing, I pitched that thing, I recorded that thing. Wendy and I booked guests for that thing. No one else had any thing to do with that podcast. So I lobbied hard because the reason I started it was to get people into this Collider office that were getting turned down or were not getting interviewed because they didn't bring in supposedly massive clicks or massive views.
Yeah.
I did it so that we could get people in here who would add some more credibility to the name and to the brand. And Todd Douglas Miller was one of those, when the email came across, I immediately jumped on it. And I was like, I would like to have him for the Deep Cut. He was like my third or fourth episode, and I said, this is what it is. This is what I want it to be. The publicist was incredibly kind to bring him in, and Todd did it for an hour, and he was incredible and really down-to-earth guy, pun intended. But and then spoke about the time they spent on this thing, 11,000 hours of footage. It's like 40,000 hours of audio footage.
I can only imagine.
And compiling it all. And, of course, I got to ask him the question, which I thought was my favorite question to ask him in that interview was, did you see any Kubrick in any of the video to see if maybe? And he's like, no, there was no Kubrick.
Well, he got the altered deep state version, man. What do you expect?
That's a fair point. It
is. Is it? Is it? As far as conspiracy theories go, that's one of my dumbest. Like, you guys are fucking morons.
Ellis believes that he doesn't know if we landed on the moon.
Fucking moron. Because there's no way everybody can keep these secrets.
No way.
There's no way.
Yeah.
But B, people are going back.
Yes.
So the lie will get found out because we left shit there.
Yeah, we did.
So how did we get it there if we never went? So basically, it's just like we're building our entire reputation upon this kind of act of humanity or act of mankind.
Exactly.
And it's just a lie? That's really hard for me to believe.
I don't disagree with you. I've always believed
Unless all those guys are like, I'll be long dead.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Screw it.
Yeah. Just destroy my legacy and the legacy of my country.
I won't be around to see it.
Yeah. Who cares?
But yeah, anyway,
pretty sweet in the moment.
True. He talked about so much of the team and how many hours and how many years they worked on this thing to get it right, and how they had to pick that. They wanted to pick that footage from the people watching it outside to show that mix of people, black and white, the vibrant colors, the protests, all of it. Seeing
just everyday people.
Yeah. Just who were so fascinated.
Well, just down there hanging out that was hanging out at the beach down in Florida culture in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. What do they do? Okay, so they still do the blanket thing, and then this is their version of that. I got you.
Laying out of the back of the wagon, the station wagon, all of that to watch this. So you forget that there was a time when this was like marvelous
How could
to
it not
witness.
Be?
Yeah.
How could it not be?
Yeah.
For all of man's existence, they have looked out into the heavens and not been able to reach it, and now suddenly we are going to try and reach it. How do you not go watch that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a fair point. And one last thing, it kind of really solidified this recent trend in documentaries where there is no narrator. It's just full on delivered the way it's delivered, and the narration essentially is the compilation of the pieces of audio of this whole entire mission as it goes along, from a culmination also of audio of newscasts and things of that nature. So that was brilliant. Cronkite stuff was incredible.
Yeah, it's a Cronkite, but then you have mission control.
Yeah.
You have the astronauts. They're all moving the action along as it goes.
Yeah, it's a good choice, man.
Yeah, it was. I knew what it was, and it still was better than I was anticipating.
Right.
9 is Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh, great choice. I like that movie a lot as well.
It just, at the end of the day, it was unique.
Yeah.
It moved me. The ridiculous nature of the body slam thing at the end fit it so beautifully.
Yeah.
Fit it so beautifully because they earned it.
Yes,
they
of course.
built and built and built, and created, fully formed characters. So by the end, you could have something like this.
Yeah.
And I didn't see Honey Boy. I don't know if it made your list or not.
No, it didn't. Good film though.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that I need to see.
Yeah.
But I was out of town, kind of thing, for a while. But I will eventually. There's like 3 or 4 that I'm like, I need to see that.
Right.
But there's others that, unless everybody tells me it's good, right now it's just it made a bunch of random lists. And I'm like, I have no idea if it's a style that I enjoy or not. Probably should take a chance on it.
Yeah.
But there's only so many hours in the day that I got free to watch movies.
That's true.
And I still watch a lot of movies, as do you.
Yes, I do.
I ain't slacking, baby. I ain't slacking.
No one's
Anyway,
accusing you of such.
Peanut Butter Falcon. God, what to say about it? I think what really sold me on it is when the first time that Shia LaBeouf stands up for him, he punches the other kid.
Yeah.
It gave it a lot of heart and realism that I could identify with, because that's what you would want to happen in that moment, because that's just a punk little kid.
Yeah.
Every once and again, there's a punk little kid that needs to get his mouth punched.
Right.
Much as you can't do that in this day and age.
No.
But
Sadly.
sometimes a boy, unfortunately, I'm just saying from my own experience, and all my friends growing up, occasionally one of us, it would have, in hindsight looking back, you know what, had we just punched him in the mouth right there, the situation would have been much better.
Yeah. Sometimes the young ones shoot their mouth off in person or in social media and deserve a punch in the mouth. So there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. It teaches you. We used to be able to do that as human beings in this world, not just in this country, but in this world, because that was a way of wisening you up, and so not a negative, but I'm sad we've walked away from it. So, 'cause people call it salt and batter and all that jazz.
Yeah. We're of a different generation. I'm not advocating beating up kids.
Not beating up.
No, but I'm saying if fisticuffs, if it happens, it happens.
Well, you shouldn't be allowed to say whatever the hell you want to say and not have any repercussions. That shouldn't happen either.
Exactly.
There has to be a line here.
There definitely is.
Yeah.
But that's one of those of the law is black and white.
It is.
But life is gray, and just like, but he's 16, and he fucking full well knows.
Yeah, what he's doing. Yeah.
But that one's too, have you seen there's a clip of a kid, and he's just going off on this dude, and it looks like a concession stand at a park or a pool or something like that.
Yeah.
And eventually the kid kind of goes up and starts hitting him and all this, and the guy throws him down onto the ground, and the kid instantly is like, just freaks out, and he's like, fuck, it's up. It's like, this guy's beating me up. Starts, go the other way and be like, nah, kid, you're just a little punk.
Yep.
And you need to get put in your fucking place.
Exactly. Because your dad didn't do it, clearly.
Yeah, or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
Or you're having a tough home life and you're taking it out on the world. Unfortunately, that's not how life works, my man.
Yeah.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
I feel for you.
Yeah.
Or if it's just bad parenting, or it's just a jerk kid. I don't know what it is, but in that moment, watching that clip, I'm like, no, this kid deserved it.
Yep.
This kid deserved it. I'm glad I'm not the one that has to fight the law on this.
Right.
But as a society, from afar, I can go, fuck, that dude's got my vote. Can I be on the jury? Because not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty is what I say to that. Okay,
and you pay damages.
To a kid.
You little 16-year-old.
Get in there, mow my fucking grass for the next 2 years.
So get in there and work 2 jobs.
Yes, that's a fair punishment. You got to do a chore, in essence.
Yeah.
You don't putatively need him damage him because he's a kid. But you got to learn. Life's got fucking repercussions.
It does. You got to learn early.
You do.
Well, this, like you said, this film is absolutely beautiful. I loved watching it. Tyler Nielsen and Michael Schwartz. Again, I had them on the Deep Cut. Great. We talked about that film. Mm-hmm. They were incredible. In fact, as you're listening to this last night at the Hollywood Critics Association Awards, I gave the Best Newcomer award to Zach Goodsagan, who's the kid.
look at that.
Oh, thank you.
Shake your hand
Thank
there.
you. Who was the kid who plays the kid with Down syndrome. He actually, obviously, he has Down syndrome himself. Both the directors said that they discovered him at some camp that they were doing. Like,
Oh, I heard about that
Right?
at the time.
yeah, they were doing acting classes for, and he just was incredible. He stood out. He commanded the room, commanded the people, and it just felt natural that they would write something for him or create something for him. And who knew that this incredibly beautiful film was going to come out of that experience? And Dakota Johnson's great in this. Like you said, Shia LaBeouf. And the kid, Zach, is fantastic. Just this relationship of him wanting to become a professional wrestler and the things he goes on. Like we all are, we go on these crazy journeys trying to pursue our dreams and follow them.
Who's the old man in the beginning of the nursing home that helps him break out?
That's Bruce Dern.
Is that okay? Yeah, Bruce
That's Dern.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I was floating between like 3-4 different actors in my head. I was like, no, fuck, kind of looks like him though. I know
Yeah.
it does. Yeah,
It's Bruce Dern in a small part. Yeah.
just wakes up. I don't know what happened. Type of thing. I was an engineer. This is what we got to do. That greases him up.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
He's just running around greased up.
in his underwear.
But you got to get out. Like that's
Yeah.
a legit. I mean, it was such a good movie that the three of them creating kind of a family unit by the end
Yeah.
made sense.
Of course. Totally made sense. All right.
It was effective as a movie.
Agreed.
My number 8 is
Mm-hmm.
Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, I got my code up on my phone. That is my number 8. So, yeah, perfect.
Perfect timing.
Love that film. My God, what a blast that film was.
I saw it at not IMAX, but the Dolby sound,
Yeah.
right? Gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous. And at the end of the movie, I look over and Catherine is pulling out her Bluetooth, earpieces because it was too loud.
Oh.
And she had to muffle it. She was like, I almost had to leave. And I'm like, oh, really? To feel the engines rev
Yeah.
and they're taking every turn. I mean, it's just pure electricity.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. Spoke to Bernie Knapp, patron of the show, afterwards, and I was like, I knew the story, but I didn't know the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I knew the nuts and bolts or like the outline of Ford going to Le Mans, but not the intricacies of it was this driver, it was this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And to be fully enraptured with, it could have a movie like Driven. What was it?
Yeah.
Which was good, but I don't think it captivated me to this level.
You mean Rush?
Or Rush.
Yes. Driven's the Stallone one.
Yeah, no. I only saw the trailer for that. When he goes around a bend and whatnot, and has to hit like a quarter.
Yeah.
And it picks it up on the tire because it's fucking been heated up and whatnot. And I saw that in the trailer. And I was like, no. No, nobody.
Let me tell you all the ways this is wrong.
No, this is what you're showing me to go, this character is fucking awesome. You're like, no.
Oh, Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's such a fun film, and a real relationship between Christian Bale and Matt Damon's characters and what they went through. And Christian Bale is incredible in this film, man. It's the thing is, yeah, the Batman stuff, but when he gets a chance to really shine, he fucking knocks it out of the park. It's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Damon does a great job as well. Kind of, he has to be the counter to what Bale is doing, which is an eccentrically interesting character.
Yeah, he's a straight man.
Exactly. He has to be the straight man. And same thing Wahlberg did in The Fighter. He's just playing the straight man and let Bale do his thing. But when they culminate in that fight at the end, I think it's fantastic. It's really heartfelt and moving. And then, what eventually occurs as they go along. And, man, I didn't know that happened to him.
The three-way tie?
Yes!
Me
Oh.
either.
I was so pissed.
If I were the other two drivers that were on his team, I would go full on, I'm not taking number one.
Exactly.
He
Forfeit.
is, yeah, exactly. I'll do whatever I got to do. I'm not taking number one. Yeah. But the guy that got number one, he went on to have a career of his own.
Yeah, true.
Became a Shelby, in essence, afterwards.
Yeah.
As far as my recollection or understanding is.
So it's just incredible. And Mangold directed the hell out of this film.
Yeah, beautifully.
Yeah.
When Ferrari looks down and does a little tip of the cap to Christian Bale.
Yeah.
We're like, you were the best.
Yeah.
You were the best. And it was like, you got them right. There, it's that kind of on Bale's side. You're like, yeah. Tiny little Italian man. That's right.
Sometimes you just know, and you have to push to just make people see it.
Well, it's not even. It's a, I've been around this a long time.
Yeah.
It was you.
Yeah.
That was all you. You were so thoroughly impressive. I don't care what the record books say. I don't care what the outcome was.
Right.
For a sports reference, like the first year that LeBron lost on the Cavs against the Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
When Kyrie and Kevin Love went down. I was like, you should have been MVP.
Yeah.
Because that was a Herculean effort, and you got more games than I thought you would. You changed the entire identity of the team. That was so thoroughly impressive in a losing effort that you deserved the MVP.
Yeah.
And,
And almost caught him. He almost got him.
I wouldn't go that far.
If they hadn't figured it out in the second or third game, he got him.
I wouldn't go that far.
All right.
They changed their identity to a defensive-minded squad, which is great, and it was working well for them.
They did.
But they have so much firepower on the other side.
I know.
It's really tough to, and ultimately that bore out.
Yeah, it did.
If you can't score somewhere near, then you need to do this 4 straight games of shutting down this offense. That's difficult to do.
It's a tall order for sure. Sure.
Even with Tristan Thompson going off last night, he can't do that every night.
That's true.
As LeBron's running mate.
Dellavedova. He ain't winning it with Dellavedova, for God's sakes.
Not a series like that.
No. But it was close.
It was interesting. More interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, for sure. I thought for sure he had them. I was like, he's going to lure them right into the fucking pit. And because I thought because they were young, that LeBron could mentally mess with them and drag them. But Curry has a resolve that's beyond his years.
Yeah.
And has always been there, and I think that's what bore out in the end. That they figured it out. Him and Kerr figured it out with Clay and with Draymond and everything. So
without a doubt.
But it was a great series.
But you get to that point, and the day of a lone superstar is gone.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
To win a championship,
Yeah,
it's damn near impossible.
Yeah, true. All right, so that was your number 8.
That was my 8.
Okay. My number 10 is a film I've spoken about many times, and I'll give it love again, Last Black Man in San Francisco. Okay. That is just one that I will champion until the end of time for 2019, Love that film to pieces. Jimmy Fails, incredible in the film, and Jonathan Majors as well. Just great relationship between these two men. And first-time director Joe Talbot and what they create here, this idea of the illusion of what you've been told, the illusion of the stories that you've told yourself, and how dangerous that can be for constructing your reality when you deep inside know that it's not true. Mm-hmm. And when you're confronted with that lie, what happens to you. And by the same token, mirrored, or I guess in conjunction with what's happening that people are with San Francisco, where people are changing the actual story of San Francisco to make it something else. And that film exposes both lies because they're detrimental to both things, both the city and the person. So I found this movie to be incredible, and it's beautifully shot, beautifully scored. The use of the camera is incredible. The use of slow motion is phenomenal. The colors, all of it, just is an incredible film. And I wish more people had seen it. I really do.
I fell asleep watching it. No knock against it. I started before I went to bed and was like, I got the energy for this. And I think I made it 20 minutes. I was just zonked.
It's one of those films that just kind of...
I will watch it. It was totally... I was entranced, but from 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, shit, this is a bad idea.
Yeah, because it's not a fast film
or
action-paced.
I'm trying to hold on, and then eventually I just was like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I didn't even make the conscious choice. My brain just shut down.
It does require your attention. That's for sure. All right. Anyway, my number 9 is Little Women.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, really?
That's one of the 4... go ahead.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely. Look, and I've said this over and over again. I was not their target audience. I am not their target audience. But this thing was incredible. A good movie is a good movie. Great point, Matt. A good movie is a good movie. It's 2 hours and 15 or 20 minutes. I went in there and sat down. I was like, let's see what happens here. And I thoroughly, because I was ready to.
Positive attitude.
Yeah, I totally.
100%.
Which I think I'm okay to walk into because I'm always open to have my mind changed. And I went and I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. And from the first scene, I was thoroughly into this thing, loved the joy and the vibrancy that Saoirse Ronan and Florence Pugh, Laura Dern, everybody involved with the movie, Emma Watson, everybody involved with the movie, Chris Cooper, all of them, Chalamet, all of them that they have in bringing this world to life. And Greta Gerwig does incredible work as a director here, going back and forth in time with the story, which I liked as a new and inventive way to tell this story, adjusting the characters a little bit to fit within what she's doing here. It's a whole new interpretation that still honors the original, but certainly never loses your attention, and the score is phenomenal.
Really?
So, all around. Just surprised by how much I love this movie, man.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would go again. I would totally go again to see this thing.
Are you setting a date? Is that what you're saying? Do you want to go?
Just saying.
We both got AMC Stubs passes. You got some free time.
I do have some free time.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Yeah. So you haven't seen it.
Well,
So
if we do that, then we should do it in West Hollywood.
you know what?
Sunset 5 it is.
There it is. I like Sunset 5.
I like it and don't.
Really?
Well, because if you sit in the back,
The revamp is great, though.
I've only been there a handful of times.
Oh, okay.
But if you sit in the back rows of the theaters,
Yeah.
you can kind of hear the jazz on the other side of the wall because it's right there, that hallway.
Right.
So the sound bleed is a little bit. So like the seat selection sometimes is very specific of.
Understood.
Eh.
Well, around 5 years ago, they revamped the entire thing. And now you can get like beer from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I went
so you've been there
3 months ago.
Okay.
Saw the farewell there.
Totally get. Oh, right. Okay. Farewell. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's my number 9. You haven't seen it, so my number 8 was Ford vs. Ferrari. So what's your number 7?
7 is. I was surprised, but I may be higher, but I'm going to keep it here. Avengers Endgame.
All right. That's my number 6. So yeah, it's fun.
I mean, look, to successfully land 20 some odd movies.
Yeah.
And do it. Look at Star Wars. Spoilers. We don't have to get into it, actually, if you don't want to. But that, to me, is an unsuccessful land.
I don't disagree.
I liked it.
Yeah, sure. It was fine for what it was, but it should have been epic. It should have been life-changing.
Oh, so when I told you, when we did Sports Time,
Yeah.
and I was like, the Andy Ruiz, because the night before I'd seen.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, he looks like the guy that sat next to me in Rise of Skywalker. Because the dude that sat next to me looked like a slightly slimmer version of Andy Ruiz.
Uh-huh.
It was great. When Leia reaches out to Ben,
Oh, yeah.
that's your mom, bro. In IMAX, sold out opening night. That's your mom, bro. Okay, buddy. Okay, he hadn't said anything up until this point.
Wow.
But then when they smooch at the end,
Oh.
that's bad writing. That is bad writing. She just stabbed him like an hour ago. And because some people were cheering.
Right.
Like it happening, and he wasn't having it. And then he turned to the girls like, that's just bad writing. I was enjoying it. It didn't annoy me. I was like, you know what, let him have. He only said 2 things.
Yeah.
The bad writing, just muttered to himself. Like, didn't like anything about this movie. It was great.
He's telling the truth. It was bad writing. Some people cheered it on. I'm like,
He retconned so many different things.
oh, God, he really did. I mean, he really did. I don't care what they come out and say in these interviews. I don't give a shit. I don't care how much the fans try to defend it and try to explain it away. This is a weak film and a weak written film, and they shat all over Last Jedi, in my opinion.
They kind of had to, though, because that's not JJ's original arc for it.
Exactly.
So
I wish they'd just own up to it and go, yes, we didn't like it. We changed some things. That was our decision.
It just, I don't know. Why did they bring the horses with them?
Yeah.
Why did they bring? As soon as I see it, it's just like whatever. They don't have speeders, but it doesn't make. Why would you transport the horses?
Yeah. They're horses.
In space. You're going to a space battle. Okay. I don't understand. And the snake thing, that seemed awfully fortuitous.
Of course, the snake thing
Awfully fortuitous.
That's the problem with the entire movie, is that all the plot devices were so blatantly convenient to be paid off later that it was like there's not even an attempt to be artistically how can I say this? Artistically intelligent about how you're laying the groundwork for this. She heals the snake. There's just randomly a snake there.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, she can heal with the Force. Boom.
But they happen to land in the quicksand pit,
Yes,
whatever that is,
right.
that drops down into the cavern,
Yes.
that has the Sith loyalists broken down, look like buggy Jeep, that happen to have the knife.
Again.
And then the snake, and then she heals the snake, and the snake opens up the door, whatnot, and then the dagger is just Goonies.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if then you had to use the dagger to open a door. Like,
Right.
Okay, it's a map and it's a key.
Right.
Perfect. That's fine. I'm willing to buy it at that point. Just she intuitively knew to turn it into a Goonies thing.
Yeah.
And then that's it. We don't need it anymore. Although Bobo, whatever, awesome.
Yeah.
Pure awesome.
Oh, Bobo Frick.
Bobo
yeah,
Frick.
Yeah.
Hey! At the end, that did get me. I was good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
There certainly aren't. It's not all bad. There are some funny, good scenes, I think, in my opinion. But just some my view is like I think there was a lot of mistakes here. A lot of mistakes. We never find out why Snoke came back. Or I mean, how Palpatine came back. We never find out that.
See, I don't think we need to know that.
I think we do. I mean, Vader killed him. If you're going to bring back somebody that was essential to the main villain being redeemed, and then he's still alive, and you're like, what the hell happened here? So, you got to explain it away somehow.
I guess maybe perhaps put him in another cloned body, not because there's the canon or stricken canon or whatever the F it is. I don't know why I'm cleaning it up all of a sudden. Just anybody's tuning in for this specific spoiler discussion.
I respect that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That seemed genuine. It didn't bother me as much, but you're not wrong. If they'd spent more time on that,
we still don't know why Ben left. We don't know why Ben ran away from his parents. We will never know why he flipped out and ran away from his. It was not just the Luke thing and Luke being afraid of him. There must have been something that happened, and we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And if his mom could have reached him like that, she should have done that in the first movie.
Well, maybe she needed Rey to be at a certain level to also draw his gaze so he was more receptive because she reminds him on some level of his mom.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a lot, man.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And they meet one woman who is, what's her face? Kerry Russell's character, Zori.
How does she get off the planet?
That's, see?
She gave up her captain's medallion.
Yeah, she gave.
How does she get off the planet?
It's just mind blowing. Then in 2019, you're going to write a film, and a lot of things have been highlighted now recently. Where like, don't do this convention anymore because it's stupid. He meets up with this woman that he used to know in the past. Mm-hmm. She's clearly got an issue with him. They have their back and forth, and of course, it's to make it clear to everybody that he's straight. And then she gives him.
Oh, what, him and Finn?
Yeah. I think they overtly put a woman in there to make sure that was. And then she gives him her most precious possession to help him get off the planet. Screw her, I guess. She's just gonna give it to him, and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking?" She just served to prop him up, nothing else.
They did all this in 16 hours.
Yeah,
16 hours.
Right. Good point. In 16 hours.
Getting to Endor and then the skiff boat and over to the throne room and then back out. I'm guessing that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
All right, and then go on to this place. Like they start the journey in whatever that the 42-year festival.
Yeah.
Place. That had to take a few hours. They go down to a snake pit. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a lot of time left here. Everything really went smoothly for you.
Someone called it Planet Burning Man. I thought it was really funny.
I just love that ultimately he's like, Death Star, Star Killer, fuck you. We got an entire fleet. Everything could kill a planet. Just like the stakes are just recycled. I didn't mind it in the first one. It's like, you know what?
Right.
It makes it palatable.
Totally fine.
And Lucas did it twice.
Yes.
But to turn around and be like, you know.
To keep going with it.
That's not a knife. Here's a knife. And you're like, okay, so what the next one is going to be nanobots that all have, fucking guns that can blow up worlds. Oh, no. It's like,
please,
give me something.
Don't do the Death Star again. Okay, we're not going to do the Death Star again.
No.
Don't do the Death Star again. All right, we're not going to do the Death Star.
Problem.
What about Star Destroyers where each one can kill a planet? For the love of God, no! I'm going to do it. I'm doubling down. So I don't care what the fans say.
Even if you do the Hodo movement or whatever the lady's name was.
Right, the Hodo movie, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And Rose was just absolutely wasted. Ugh,
it's just a whole bunch of people wasted.
Yeah.
It was like just a plethora of I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, though, it's enjoyable.
It is an enjoyable movie, but the problems
the action's
so
kind of fun.
Obvious. Yeah.
I know, yeah. How does the Emperor's lightning only affect the rebel ships?
Right.
And I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
So the second time I saw it, I counted how long until he is shooting to technically when he stops.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere between 110 seconds and 120 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So those ships were in free fall for 2 minutes. None of them hit the ground.
Wow.
None of them? They all regained.
For 2 minutes?
2 minutes. I don't know what the gravitational pull is, but it seems to be kind of like Earth. You know what I mean? That's 9.8 meters per second squared. How high up are these? There's got to be some that were close to the ground.
Right.
Okay, 2 minutes,
And I love it. They go, he built it in the unknown regions. Oh, the unknown regions. There it is. That's a place on the map that no one knows about.
Well, there's gravity wells. I don't even know. How do you pilot through this thing?
God. Anyway, we're talking about Avengers Endgame, and they said this and stuff. That was your mini.
But Endgame is how you land.
Yes.
Something with just massive expectations.
Yeah.
To a degree that, the proven track record, we all knew you'd do it, and you did it. That's even more impressive.
Yes, agreed.
That you consistently put out movies that we all enjoyed, some more than others, but all enjoyed by and large. There wasn't, a string of clunkers right in the middle.
Right.
Even if one didn't resonate with one of the two of us, general populace, liked it.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Yeah.
And to then land finally with all these characters and all these different directors' styles, and to bring the Russo brothers to bring in and blend beautifully, it was.
Yeah.
I think I prefer Infinity War better. I think it's a more fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
That's why this didn't rate higher on my list.
Okay.
Even though Endgame they win, but Infinity War just like the stakes keep building, and we haven't seen the Avengers lose, and it was just interesting.
Yeah.
And I thought that was difficult too. How do you make the penultimate?
Right. Good point. I enjoy this hell out of this one because, like Matt said, they landed it in a way that you didn't believe was possible, and they wrapped up almost every storyline. Tone, note perfect. I mean, the Iron Man loss, and Stark doesn't say a word, is beautiful. He dies without saying a word. It's so great. And then Captain America handing off the shield to Falcon, and Bucky looking on. Great. And then you have Black Widow, what happens to her. All of it just works so well. And I loved it. And the entire end of everything. Nebula confronting the younger Nebula, all of that. And then that fight scene. I mean, the fight scene is so. Those three just walking, just brilliant use of the camera by the Russo brothers, where you have Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America just walking, and all you see is from behind them and right at their feet. You don't need to see anything else, right? You see the cape, you see the boots of Captain America, you see the Iron Man shoes or whatever, the Iron Man outfit, and you're just like, this is incredible. This is exactly what you want to see, a final confrontation. And so I just loved it to pieces. I've watched it, 10 times. Like it's on Disney Plus. So I'm just like putting it on in the background for no reason. It's so great.
Well, it's purely like I walk through the shadow of death, and I fear no evil.
Yeah.
Walking into it, the fact that Thanos is sitting there, and when you see it, it's beautiful because of course he would sit there.
Yeah,
because he knows the fight is coming to him.
Right. There's no need to push it.
Nope. Yeah. I know they're coming, so that's fine. Here's just as good a place as any.
Yeah.
Go ahead and test your mettle. I will destroy you like I've destroyed everybody before me.
Yeah.
And that is not arrogance. That is confidence.
Right.
That is borne out by he has done this to countless worlds and peoples before, and he knows that technically in an alternate timeline, he has already accomplished this goal.
Yeah.
So he will accomplish this goal again. Yeah. And the hubris is earned.
Yeah.
It's
thoroughly earned.
Utterly fantastic. And just, when Cap finally says Avengers Assemble.
Oh, man.
Just in that little assemble.
Yeah.
You're like, well, when he catches Mjolnir, that first time, bing,
that's the nerd boner, and Assemble is great. The nerd explosion.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great for two characters that in comics never really worked for me. I'm never a big Thor, Captain America fan.
Totally fair.
And in the movies, man, they have just brought them to life. And to have the three of them go down into it, but everybody had enough of a presence to where they felt a part of the movie.
Yeah.
With all of these characters.
Agreed. Thoroughly agreed, brother.
Yeah.
All right, so that was your 7?
It's my 7.
That's my 6. Go ahead. What's your 6?
My 6 is Joker.
That's a punt.
Okay.
So then my 7 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's a punt.
Okay. What's your 5?
Wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
5 is Marriage Story.
Oh, yeah, I didn't make my list, man. I enjoyed the movie. It's just a lot. And I just felt like I didn't see it as special as everyone else did. But I enjoyed the movie.
What sold me on the movie is because I'm not a child of divorce.
Yeah.
Like most of my friends are, by and large, I think. But what sold me on it, 2 scenes. One, when they're having the fight with each other and Adam Driver breaks down and cries.
Incredible fight.
Utterly transfixing.
That has happened. I've had that fight, and it's mind-blowing. to watch that fight
Yeah.
on a movie screen.
Different
So
words,
honest.
same emotion.
Yep, different words. Yes.
But just the bend of the like, I can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
when he was like, if I can find out tomorrow that Henry's, I think it was Henry,
Yeah.
his son, is okay, and you had died, and just going and just so much emotion boiling over. For that scene alone, he's in contention for best actor for me.
Oh, that's fair.
Just for that
Totally
one
fair.
scene.
Yeah.
But at the end, when she gives their son over,
Yeah.
and he's got her up on his shoulder and whatnot, and he starts to walk away, and she stops him and taps him on the leg so that she can tie his shoe. You can see that there's the honest reality of there's still love there.
Yeah.
But they've just grown apart.
Right.
And they need to recognize that and try and live fruitful, healthy lives beyond it sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you'll get back together. There are people that do that. But to see that the glimmer of, because as he's reading that piece of paper and to his son, that's another moment where he's breaking up and the positive things that she felt about him, and then to close on, I will always love him.
Yeah.
To know at the start of this process, she had that, and it's genuine, just as he will. But they just need, unfortunately, they're not, I don't know, compatible anymore.
Yeah.
But the glimmer of hope when he finds out that she's been nominated for an Emmy, and he assumes it's acting because he doesn't know, and it's for directing, the look of genuine happiness, not resentment for something that I should be getting.
Right.
It was like, oh, you finally, and to see that, just like, there's love.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
Perhaps they can't get the rest of it to work. And then the shoot, and I was like, that to me ultimately is a more hopeful story that people paint it as. Because at least they matured and grew, and hopefully they're better for it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, man. The journey is well worth the payoff, and they're both incredible in the movie, and the honesty in every stage of this film. You know, from the divorce stuff, then the lawyers getting involved. Her being selfish about what she needs because she wants to put boundaries up and she's not sure how to put boundaries up. Him like wanting to push past those boundaries, to knock down those boundaries, and not realizing that that's the behavior that essentially drove her away to begin with.
Yeah.
All these kinds of things that they both had to figure out and then eventually come to terms with, and that fight was so integral because they both got out what they've been wanting, the worst things in the world that they have felt about the other person. They got it out, and in getting it out, it's like a release.
It is.
And then you're like, okay, now the healing can start to begin.
Can you move forward?
Right. Because that's what I loved about it. It's kind of a twist on what at the beginning when you have the psychiatrist going, tell them everything you love about them. And it's like, nah, bitch. We got to go down into the well and go at each other in a terrible way, and then we're going to climb out of this thing and figure it out. But some people need to do that. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but I'm saying some couples do need to do that.
Yeah.
And then they climb back out and discover the love again because they've released the negative stuff once and for all, and the other person has heard it and it's affected them.
Catherine knows somebody that they go to couples counseling every week.
Wow.
And have been for a long time.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like, wow. Okay, well, if that's what it takes to get it to work for you,
I guess
and
so.
it seems to be helping.
Yeah.
You just maybe need someone to help mediate between the two of you and like, this is how I viewed it.
Right.
Okay, well, look at it from this perspective, and just to take an outsider's, perhaps it's healthy for them.
Yeah, so maybe some people aren't self-analytical, and so having it presented to them in a certain way, then they get it. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. Yeah.
That was my 5. What you got?
Okay. My 5 is Jojo Rabbit.
That's a punt.
Okay. What's your 4?
Excuse me. 4 is Once Upon a Time.
Okay. Which was my 7. Yeah.
DiCaprio to me, this is another his performance is in the discussion for best of the year. It could be my favorite of the year.
Wow. Okay.
For numerous scenes. My favorite of which was when the little girl tells him that she is so enamored of his acting. We saw that in the trailer. And to see it live,
Yeah.
knowing that's what it's building to, and then the payoff was better than it ever could have been, and I have already seen it, I was like, he is goddamn right. Like, in that moment, he was about to break, like, fuck yes. I just, like, you best recognize type of thing. And he's, she describing that story to her, and she's like, you have no idea what's coming. Like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. But the build-up when I knew the dog was coming, and then I was like, oh, flamethrower. and then Flamethrower comes out. I was giddy. I was utterly giddy. I know a lot of people are dinging it for the hyperbolic violence at the very end. I don't know how you end that movie otherwise.
Well, I mean, it's certainly set up to end that way. I just think it was, well, anyway. Yeah, I totally hear your points. I think Brad Pitt's incredible in the film, too.
Yeah. I'm not taking it away. I'm happy he won the Globes.
Right. I think he'll win the Oscar. I really do. I think he's a great supporting actor in this movie.
Man, but once you get relegated to the music comedy, that kind of hurts your chances overall, I think, in the Oscar.
Yeah, fair. I mean, the film was categorized that way, so it couldn't win in drama. So.
I know. But I'm just saying, but when it comes Oscar time, now that you've already been deemed comedic and musical.
Oh, good point. Does it really cross over?
Is it really something we are going to be rewarding?
It's rare.
Although, Once Upon a Time shouldn't have been in that category.
Okay.
I don't think it's either, really.
Okay.
It's not a full-on drama, but it's not a comedy.
Right.
And it's surely not a musical, so I don't know what you call it.
That's fair. My issues with it, obviously, I didn't like the ending. I thought the ending wasn't earned because these kids were never shown to actually be a real threat. I mean, Brad Pitt took them all out essentially by himself.
Great, though.
But yeah, and it was a good scene when he did it at the ranch, totally. Yeah. But that means they're not that, villainous a crew. So when they show up, they're competent buffoons, and then you absolutely destroy them. You're like, what? This does not. To me, this doesn't. There's no compare. The punishment is way too severe for the intention of a crime that they bumbled into. They weren't trying to go to kill Sharon Tate.
Okay,
that's the thing. If they were going to kill Sharon Tate, and they were going to her house to kill her.
Yeah, but then it turns DiCaprio and Pitt into superheroes that intercede on Sharon Tate's behalf somehow.
Right. And that's what would have been interesting to see. Like maybe Brad Pitt's walking the dog, hears her screaming, comes in, DiCaprio sees them fighting, then he runs over, then it becomes something else. Then at that point, they have actually tried to do something destructive. DiCaprio and Pitt are both shown to be fallible people.
Yeah.
So for them to be in line to be killed, it's not necessarily like 100% a bad thing. But Sharon Tate has been shown as an innocent woman who's acting and trying to do her life and is pregnant. And so, and everyone wants her. So that's more of a virginal thing that if they were going after that, then I would have thought it was warranted. So that's my personal thing. That's why I didn't like it as much.
But then people could turn it on why does she need to be saved? Can't she stand up for herself?
Yeah, well, sure. That's fair. That's fair. But you could turn it around and have her do that.
Once you base it on the Manson family, but you're not going to do that story, to me, this seems a very logical outcome for this illogical story.
Yeah, okay. And I also didn't like the Bruce Lee stuff. I know it was through Brad Pitt's eyes, but I still didn't like it. So
see,
I dinged it.
I loved it because it's his recollection.
Right, I know.
It's utterly fictitious. It's a narrative that he is telling himself to make him feel better about himself.
Right.
So it's not real.
I know. But
I guess most people are missing that, but
I know it's more. I know it's not real. It's just my thing is that's the only way you show him. Because you can show him. Yeah, sure. Because you can't show him again when he's training either Polanski or Sharon Tate with his martial arts or whatever he's doing. You could show him not being the arrogant prick.
True.
And that's the balance.
Yeah.
That's what I would have liked. So
the reality you're trying to tell yourself versus and what we all experience.
Right. And that would have been funny to have Brad Pitt have the reality come to him in some comical way. But still, an incredible film to watch, and I certainly enjoyed myself in the theater for almost the entire movie. So I have no complaints in that way. Certainly a good experience of a film. Totally would see it again because I think
this one's a high rewatchability for me.
Yeah, Tarantino does an incredible job of capturing that time in Hollywood and that time in the 60s in Los Angeles and the world.
I went to go eat at Casa Vega because I hadn't been there in forever, and it was better than I remembered, actually.
Casa Vega's good, man.
I used to live not far from there.
Yeah.
Two separate places. I lived behind that Ralph's.
Oh, yeah.
It's not far from there.
Right. There's a Pier 1 or something right around that area, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that bowling alley right down the way.
Yep.
Yeah, for a short while there, and then I lived further north of Casa Vega. And I haven't been there in forever.
Yeah.
Just like the El Coyote. I haven't been there in forever.
Never to go to El Coyote. That's terrible, Mexico.
Is it? I've been twice, and I was like, it's fine, but it's overpriced.
Yes. It's not, for what you get.
Yeah.
Casa Vega, though, that's good shit.
I was good.
And their margaritas are fantastic.
Well, dude, what are you, just a fucking enabler, huh? You want me to
I'm
fall off the wagon? You son of a bitch. It's fine.
I'm sorry.
Catherine brought up scotch last night. She went out with a vendor and one of her employees after work.
Yeah.
And she's trying a new diet. It's not really a diet, but she's like, I want to cut out some things and see if it kind of makes any difference.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I feel better, maybe I don't, and just figure out. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And she was trying to think of what spirits she could have, or like she knew she couldn't have beer or wine. She's like, yeah, can I have anything else? And they're like, what about scotch? And she came home and told me, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said scotch, because that was always my favorite.
Oh.
And I'm like, listen, it's coming up on 13 years in less than a month. If that's what's going to set me off, then I'm amazed I made it this far. Like, nobody could say the alcohols that I like. Whiskey, oh my God, let's go to a bar right now.
Did you say scotch? Ooh,
And I can't help myself. I know, I did start thinking about it. I was like, oh, the taste of scotch. That sounds good right now.
Scotchy, scotch. Down into my belly.
Love me some scotch. But what she ended up settling on, have you ever had this? I want to see what your reaction was.
Yeah.
Tequila with soda water and a twist of lime.
No.
I was like, ooh, not for me.
That's not my jam.
I only like the Neho because they aged it in Scotch casks.
Right.
So it gave it a Scotchy flavor. And I was like, now that's tequila, but I never liked any other tequila.
Right. No, because the edge doesn't get taken off by having the soda
I didn't think
water
so.
in there. No.
And I was like, I never drank the shit
What's
because
the point?
I only like the shots of Anejo. And she was like, yeah, it was terrible. And I was like, it sounds terrible.
We had a great drink last night at the thing that was a gin with apple juice.
I could see that.
And I didn't think that could mix, and I chased it. It was incredible. Yeah. So from now on, I might be ordering that. It's incredible.
It's a lot of sugar.
It was. Yeah, you're right. It is a lot of sugar, which is probably why I liked it, because I like things that are sweet.
Well, that should fuel a worse hangover the next day.
It should be, but I don't get it.
I believe that's the simple math. At least it was for me. The more sugar, the worse the hangover.
I just don't get hangovers, so.
Well, sounds like you're not partying hard enough, man.
I party pretty hard.
I don't know.
For whatever reason, I just don't get them.
Never had a hangover.
She gets them. Oh, Lindley gets mad hangovers.
I couldn't even imagine at our age now.
Hangovers. Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no chance.
She's had to accept it, man. Crossing that 40 line is a real line to cross. Your body does not bounce back anywhere near the way it used to, man.
No, I've got a cold that's been hanging on for 2 weeks.
Yeah, see? I'm still coughing now from that fucking bronchitis bullshit.
At Christmas, there was 15 of us at my parents' place. My sister was sick, and so we'll exclude her. There's 14. 12 of us got sick.
Oh, fuck.
12. Over the course of like a week, we were all roughly there.
Yeah.
And different stages because my nephew who lives in San Diego, he picked it up from them and actually went to my parents' place a few days before everybody else.
Yeah.
So then he kind of spread contagion throughout the house, and then her family showed up. It's the second time in 3 years that she has just run wreckshod. My dad had to go to urgent care.
Oh, shit.
Well, eventually he was just coughing too much. And
That's
like, I have to.
Yeah, that's what happened to me, man. Yeah.
We were skiing, and he couldn't go out skiing with me. And the next day we were getting kicked out of our condo. Well, not kicked out. We had to check out by 10 a.m.
Right.
And I was going to go skiing, and he was going to sit in the car and just, cough all day?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's not happening. I had a little bit of cough, so that was enough of an excuse to be like, I was coughing last night too. Why don't we just go home?
Right. Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And then we went home, and thankfully he went to urgent care, and they put him on antibiotics and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But 2 years ago, she sent my brother to the hospital, and my dad was on his deathbed for like 6 days. This thing has been hanging with me for 2 weeks, where it's just kind of, it's on a 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I've had a 3 for 2 weeks.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it's just my nose will run for like 2 hours, and then it's done.
Okay.
And the past 2 days, I've woken up with a cough, but it's done after the first hour of the day.
Yeah.
Like I have a small one every once and again.
Right.
It's done. But it won't go away.
Yeah.
It won't.
Everyone's reacting to this one differently. It's weird. All right, that was your number 4?
That was my 4.
Okay, so my 4 is The Irishman.
Didn't make my list.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love this movie, man.
Really?
I had such a great time.
I thought it was good.
Yeah. 3.5 hours. Saw it in the theater, the premiere.
Okay.
Saw it again when Lindley was out for whatever reason last weekend. I popped it on. I was like, Netflix popped it on. Just watched it.
Yeah.
It is a great film for me personally because I'm such a Scorsese fan and such a fan of De Niro and Pacino and Pesci. Mm-hmm. Just to slide into some old sneakers and just wear them for a little while. And that's what it feels like when I watch this movie. It's remembering Goodfellas, it's remembering Casino, it's remembering the great stuff that came before, and just Raging Bull, and just enjoying these men all working together on this film. Now, does it have a couple issues? Yes, of course. Certainly Robert De Niro trying to beat up that guy doesn't look believable at all. Looks like a 70-year-old man trying to stomp on somebody.
That one, everybody brings that one up. That one to me is less egregious than when Pesci is helping him fix his truck.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, all right, kid, get on your way. And he's like, all right, thanks. And like, hold on. Even de-aged, he looks 52. And Pesci looks 55.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
So even
I don't disagree with
de-aging,
you. Yeah,
that's the one where
weird.
I was like, hold on. So how young is he supposed to be? So that's what I was focused on for the first hour. How young do I think he is right now? He obviously fought in World War II.
He did.
But he seems even old to be fighting in World War II at this point.
Right. They
Flashing
showed those
back.
moments, yeah.
Yeah, it's only like 10 years before, so it made him in his 40s. I guess he would have gone. I mean, I believe Tom Hanks and Private Ryan, he's roughly about that, so I guess. But nobody called him kid in that.
No.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I liked it. Look, the 3.5 flew by.
Yeah, it really did, right?
Flew by.
Yeah.
And overall, I don't dislike it in any real capacity. I just thought it was like, I watched it and was like, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like Wolf of Wall Street for me, where I'll see it again and I'll be like, okay. And then you see, now Wolf of Wall Street, I love.
Yeah.
And I think it's got so many different rewatchable parts. The first time I saw it, I went, that was good. But I don't know. I don't think so, though.
Okay.
I'd rather just watch Goodfellas.
No, fair. I like it because like the opening and the opening and the ending are so perfectly done, of leaving the door open, leaving him there at the end, and then the way we walk into the film is like through the hallway to see him, and everybody in the stories he tells, and it's heartbreaking how he has to kill Hoffa in that. Like, it is heartbreaking seeing what he has to go through. All of that's really emotional, and the stuff with his kids, just showing you like just because you provide doesn't mean you get away with it, and the ramifications of it with your family sometimes. And you see that. And I think that all comes to bear. A lot of people complaining about Anna Paquin's like, but she's like, are you kidding? I jumped at the chance to work with Scorsese. I think she's an incredible character in the film, and she has a lot to say without saying it. That's what the best actors do. They speak without speaking sometimes and are just as devastating in a scene. And so I think all around, it's just a fun watch for me. And I got real emotional watching it 2 or 3 times. I mean, like, watching 2 of the 3 scenes, like when Pacino is so desperate in that moment, you're just like, oh my God, like you're just heartbroken for this Jimmy Hoffa guy who could be such an asshole, but you feel for him as a human. Like when he's just like, tell him, oh no, just let him, we'll fix it, blah blah blah, and he shows up in that thing and he knows what's gonna happen. Oh man, it's just heartbreaking, dude. But Pesci is incredible. Pesci is just incredible in this movie. Steals every scene he's in.
Yeah, he's my favorite part, hands down.
Yeah.
It's nothing against De Niro, Pacino.
No,
Pesci is effortlessly drawing my focus in every one of these scenes.
I mean, every single time he looks and doesn't say a word is just so powerful.
And I love he's basically De Niro's rabbi.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like when he goes to take out that other laundromat, and he's like, you don't know. Comes back and it's Keitel.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how good a friend you got here.
Yeah.
No, he's my good friend. No, you have no idea.
And Pesci doesn't say a word.
Nope, doesn't need to.
Nope. He just kind of has a little wry smile on his face.
That's why at the end, when they're sitting right before he puts him on that plane.
Yeah.
It's like plans changed today, and De Niro wants to push back.
Oh, so bad.
But this is the one person in the world that he can't.
Right. Because he's stood up for him so many times.
Yeah. I like the movie. It just it didn't have. I was expecting the moon, like the Sebastian as Gallo. You could cut all that out. That has no weight to the overall story.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So there's 10, 15 minutes that I don't think we really need to prove the bona fides of De Niro.
That's fair.
In this capacity, maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah. I also think it's it's a strong message too about this idea of like what you end up as. Like you could have all the vigor and the verve of your 40s and 30s and 50s, whatever, and then by the 70s or 80s, you're sitting in a prison and you've got a hump and you can barely move and you're throwing a bocce ball, you're in a wheelchair. Like that's what you end up at with all your power, all your all your virility, you end up broken in essentially a nursing home in prison.
Jail or death.
Yeah, jail or death. And it's like,
your only way out.
And that's why it still rings, the message of Goodfellas rings through this movie. This idea that there's always a price to pay at the end.
Yeah, there's very few. I think
never as good as you think it is.
Frank Costello is one of the few that got to retire.
Yeah. Right.
And still had influence with him, but he no longer ran things.
Right.
Like it's rare. You don't get to the height of organized crime, at least from our understanding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been to a meeting.
You've been to the mattresses?
Uh-huh. Well, I've never had to go. You know what I mean?
You never go to mattresses? Fair enough.
I don't get my hands dirty with that nonsense. I'm more Meyer Lansky. You know? I help with the big decisions.
You tell him that.
Not a problem.
What's your 3?
3 is Parasite.
That's my 2.
Okay.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah, I think the only reason it's not higher is because everybody told me going into it it's their favorite movie of the year.
Gotcha.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
It's my 3.
Okay.
But I already knew my number 1 right when we were doing this. My number 2 changed not long ago.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Okay.
The dad, the scene where he's doing the acting and his son is coaching him through.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I remember him from The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. Mm-hmm. What is that, South Korean adaptation of Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And he was my favorite part of that.
Yeah.
And then it took me like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I was like, where have I seen this dude? It's like, oh, yeah.
Right.
He's my favorite part in that. So far, he's kind of, when he's, 15, 20 minutes in, you don't see him all that much. And then he becomes more and more throughout. But just a beautifully constructed movie.
Yeah.
It's got a nice build. The payoff of how things actually turn out in the end just works so nicely.
The acting all around is incredible. And the twists and the turns and this idea and the messages that Bong Joon-ho always trying to tell you about class, about money, about humanity, and also about sometimes the vainness of dreams, this idea that you hope it can go in this way. Like at that end, you're just like, oh, did it? Mm-hmm. Did he get out? Did it all? Oh, my God, this is a happy ending. And you're like, nah, this is what he hopes might happen. But they're still poor, even poorer than they were before.
Well,
even less of a situation they had before.
Yeah, you see that dream transfer where he's got all the money and he goes down. And you kind of believe that's how it's going to end.
You do.
You kind of like, okay, I guess this would be motivation enough for someone to have to try to do this. And then it's just a pipe dream. Oh, so brutal. So brutal.
Right. Because there's always this ugly underbelly waiting below that could happen to you. And that's what was so brilliant about Parasite.
And you just went back to you were always the same person.
Yes.
So why is this suddenly going to change you?
Yeah.
Now, the event was so huge, that's why it was believable of if there was ever going to be anything that propelled a wanderlust like this kid seemed to be on some level. Mm-hmm. Not that he's actually wandering around, but he wasn't settling. His friends were off going to college and private tutors and all that stuff, and he's just some army kid.
Yeah.
Or he did, 2 years? Something along those lines. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah, the twists and turns of all of it, just incredible. And the score and the movement and the camera work.
I just wish there was more of the dad.
Yeah.
But maybe he was so excellent because
there was less of
less of him. And there's nothing against the mom, daughter, son, the other characters in it. They were all great, but he sparked every time for me.
Agreed. That was your number 3?
Correct.
So my number 3 is Joker.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I thought this was going to be my number 1 film of the year. I really did for a while. And then I saw Parasite, and it kind of pushed it back. And then I saw my number 1 and pushed it back. So I will say this. This is a film that I absolutely still enjoy very much. So I've seen it 3 times now.
Okay.
I think it absolutely has a lot to say about what he's going through, the character, how we treat these people in society, what the results can be. And I think a lot of people were uncomfortable, didn't like that the mirror was being turned on them as a society. Of what we do, we actually do step over people all the time. We do ignore people all the time because all of us try to get to the next thing. All of us are trying to just get to our own lives, and we don't even take that moment to look. And it isn't until someone shoots someone in the head that someone finally pays attention. Is it perfectly executed throughout the film? No, I don't think so. But I really enjoy the performance, man, and I really enjoy the score is incredible. The visuals are phenomenal.
Without a doubt.
This is an art house film masquerading as a superhero film, and it is off the charts incredible.
The dancing.
Yeah.
The first time you see it, and it's this weird, it's almost like tribalistic or animalistic.
Yeah.
Because he's been so defeated, and he finally kind of feels alive.
Yeah.
Had to murder somebody to do that, and how does your body express that?
Yeah.
This release that you didn't know existed, and to see it manifest as a dance and seem organic and real, it's like, wow. Because I remember seeing it in the trailer, and I was like, I don't know what that is. The rest of this trailer looks really interesting. I'm not dinging you for this,
Right.
but where does that scene fit in? That's interesting.
Yeah.
And to see it actually come to life, it's like, wow, this is his interpretation of the choker, of that manic laugh.
Yeah.
You know, he expressed all his emotions via that laugh. So it's sadness or melancholy, there's a laugh for that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's excited, there's a laugh for that. If it's genuine humor, there's a laugh for that. And you could see it within his performance, like when he's playing with a little girl and the mom, bats him on the nose, in essence.
Yeah.
And then his laugh after that, that's pain.
Yeah.
I was doing nothing wrong. We were having a nice moment. Why would you take a nice moment away? And yeah, it's really good. Maybe it goes up. I've only seen it the one time.
Okay.
I'm holding back because I want to kind of, relive a lot of the grit to it.
Yeah, I discovered this third time watching it something symbolic with where he's laughing and he keeps choking at the beginning of the movie. And at the end of the movie, there is no choking, or the last few minutes of the movie, every time he laughs, there's no choking because he's finally himself. What he's been choking down is who he really is, and it's symbolic in that nature. So that when the film, those last few scenes of the film, he's laughing with abandon, of pure abandon, and no restraint at all. And you're just like, oh, see, he was always this, and he says it in that moment at the end. He says, I was just so tired of pretending like I didn't enjoy it. And so he's finally embracing who he is, for better or worse. He's embracing who he is, and it's like, oh, because everyone wants to talk about like, oh, you should be the best. You should be exactly who you are, blah blah blah. And this is who he is. It goes both ways.
Exactly.
You know? So
there are rotten eggs.
Yes, that's just how it goes. All right, that's your number two. Was my number three.
So my two.
Yeah, this is your two.
I'm pretty sure is your number one.
Yeah,
which is 1917.
Yeah, it's my number one. Hands down, Matt Knost.
Punt from yours earlier was my favorite movie of the year.
Okay, all right. Oh, wow, okay, fair enough.
Enjoyed the living shit out of it. I know I'm going to be watching that a lot. 1917, I don't know. I will rewatch it.
Yeah.
It is rewatchable, but the other one has more of a rewatchability. I enjoyed it. It was unique. I didn't know how they pulled it off. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
1917, the single shot, knowing it, going into it, but seeing what Mendez did with that, utterly captivating. I love that as the story actually builds, they go from this idyllic outdoor setting and they're all relaxing and they're basking out in the sun and enjoying themselves. And the reality of what they are about to do begins as they walk into the trench, and the world around them gets more and more claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And that's how the story stays until the very end when it's not. And that's how, okay, all right, now we're starting, and you can just feel it. You can feel it. I saw it in IMAX. You can just feel this world enclosing around you.
Yes.
It is gorgeous. It's World War I like I've never seen. I love crossing of no man's land and then going back into the bunker and seeing the German bunker. And a lot of them were way better than anything the other side had put up.
Right.
Germans are pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Plus, there was reasons theirs was a little bit better. They actually had a fucking plan that they needed to execute. I believe it's called the Schlieffen Plan. That they calculated that if they could do it in a specific amount of time, they could win the war before Russia could deploy their forces, as long as they took out this side.
Wow.
And they did it as fast and as overly produced as they could.
Yeah.
And they'd be able to browbeat them down, bend them to their will. And by the time Russia got there, and even Russia's history is we show up and we're still a little unprepared. So it takes us a little while to get going. But once we get going, boy, we got millions to throw at you. So what's up, Jack? But I guess the Russians showed up and were a little more competent than they had been previously. Not great.
Right.
But to see, to go back and to see just these huge casings sitting around in heaps, and the concrete, footings that they poured for the cannons, and the bunker that is so professionally done, and the booby traps, and then that's only a tiny fraction of they get into that burned down town.
Yeah.
Or he gets into that
right.
burned down
He
town.
does.
Rather.
Yeah. That was another thing that was great. That twist of what happens to the other kid. You're just like, oh man,
Wow.
fuck! Like that was a brilliant decision, and it makes sense because war doesn't make sense. A death like that makes all the sense in the world in a war. Randomly, in a moment where he's trying to help somebody, that's the punishment that he gets for trying to help an enemy. And you're like, oh my god. All of it. Yeah, I agree. I think you let go of the gimmick after the first 20 minutes. You're like, okay, this is just what it is.
I never felt it.
Let me enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It just fades away after a while. You just marvel at what he's created. The scenes from hell that you see him like going into that basement of that girl with the girl and everything like that. It's like trying to glimpse of the possibility of like just laying low and not know, but then 1,600 people are going to die. He's got this responsibility and then having to run through all of that to try to get there in time, to get through all these different people, to find the right person. And what a great moment Richard Madden does as an actor, as the brother who has to like hear the news. What great acting he does in that moment too. All of this, and it just shows you at times the futility and the almost overwhelming nature of war with one person or two people trying to complete a mission that could save so many. That's the madness of war. And there's so much that I think he's trying to say, Sam, is with the movie about war and about our society and a proclivity for it and what we really need to be doing. And I just think it's fantastic, man, all around. And the score is phenomenal. Good God.
It's so beautifully written in its simplicity, too.
Yeah.
Like when Mark Strong stops him right before he leaves, and he's like, make sure there are witnesses.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a man just wants to fight. And you hear that, and you're like, yeah, I've read enough accounts where people, went into odds that were stacked against them because they just hell or high water, they're winning today.
Yeah.
You're like, that was a bad decision.
Yeah.
And you thought Cumberbatch was going to bristle. And once he sees, oh, no, I'm not going to kill my men needlessly type of thing.
Right.
And the man that stops him at the end is like, good for you. But with Madden, when he's looking off and the kid's going to walk away and he turns around and he's, can I write, do I have your permission to write to your mother?
Yeah.
And tell him about him and how brave he was. And just that, when he goes to shake his hand afterwards, that is fun. Small role, but I'll be damned if I didn't believe that was your brother, and now you're trying to cope with. Yeah. And I love that about all the really uber famous actors they used in it. Just Colin Firth float in and out. Of course, he's the general, but we don't need to see him again. Right. And you just see these small but excellent actors interacting, kind of just shepherding down the path a little bit.
This is why you cast the way you cast. If you're going to have these kind of really smaller roles in a movie, you got to cast an actor of real versatility and weight.
That kid's
can
good.
Bring the complexity.
Both of them are good. The kid from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
But the kid that ultimately, it's like, that's a tough role.
It is.
To be compelling without chewing scenery type of shit.
Dude, the bunker blowing up on them is so believable, man. And their reaction with the dust in their mouth, you're just like, oh my God, I know that. That makes so much sense. Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
All around.
There's a mine shaft. It turns into Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you've got to trust me and jump, even though you're blind. So that is my number one. What's your number one? Let's break it down.
One is JoJo.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit.
Going into it, I didn't know Hitler was his imaginary friend.
Really?
I just knew that Hitler was in it.
Okay.
That's why I don't want to know. I saw the premise. I saw the trailer the first time. I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then the buzz coming out was, this is really good. And then, so the first, I don't know how long it is before you can kind of piece together that it's his imaginary friend. It's in that first scene before he goes out running down the street.
Yeah.
So I'm giggling. The rest of the audience is laughing, and I'm giggling because I'm having the conversation within myself of, are we really trying to humanize Hitler here?
Yeah, yeah.
And once I realized it's his imaginary friend, to be like, well, of course, he's a Hitler youth, and that's his Michael Jordan.
Right.
That's his whatever. It's a cult of personality that doesn't exist outside of somebody like Hitler.
Yeah.
And of course, he's going to be like, get out there, Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler, Later on, when he's in his bed, that's what best friends do. I warmed it up, type of thing. Went from confrontational to we're buddies.
Right.
Over and over and over again. But to see the reality of the war from a German that didn't support, is, you're humanizing some of the individuals that got swept up in the politics of their day and didn't say anything before.
Yeah.
And now they have to live with the results of keeping quiet. And she's trying to do something by at least getting one person through this.
Yeah, and this is some of Scarlett's best work as an actress. Just really incredible. I mean, of course, Marriage Story, people literally love that, but I liked her more in this. I found her more, I just found her more alive, more human in this than I did in necessarily Marriage Story.
Well, Marriage Story, she's the one that starts the lawyers, which starts the evil side of the process.
Right.
So you kind of gravitate towards Adam Driver as being the nicer of the two.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least I did, but I assume.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely fair. It's just, but I just there's something about her performance here that really was tender and sweet and vulnerable, and this idea that Scarlett, who we saw in Horse Whisperer, is now playing the moms of things is just kind of mind blowing a little bit, but in doing it so well and so tenderly, and then that relationship between the kid and Thomas and Mackenzie, the Jewish girl that's that they're harboring in the house, how that develops, all of his and then of course the Taika Waititi stuff. And I agree with you, Matt. The first 10-15 minutes, I was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. And then it eventually gets you.
So, well, once he's running out on the street, I know he's a
imaginary thing.
Imaginary friend.
Agreed.
I'm fully on board.
Yeah.
What else you got, Taika?
It certainly does. But he still gives Hitler that moment right before he dies. You see the ferocity
he
of what Hitler really is.
A maniac.
Yes. And you're just like, oh, shit.
And Sam Rockwell and
Rebel Wilson.
No. Alfie Allen.
Oh, yeah.
That's
right.
Sam Rockwell's like, they appear to be lovers.
Yes.
They're designing the perfect, fucking uniform. Just great to go out in a blaze of glory. Why not? Who cares? And Rockwell, helps him at the end there.
Saving the kid there in that moment is just really just beautiful, heartbreaking, tender
Well,
stuff.
because he'd be killed in this instance if people actually knew who he was.
Right.
And Stephen Merchant, the thankless job of being everything that's evil about the SS and Nazis.
Yeah.
That's a tough bill.
Yeah.
In a movie where everybody else kind of you can't really ascribe a face to the evil.
Right.
You are the face of evil in this. Really good.
Taika does an incredible job with that script and with the direction, man.
Yeah.
Just really making you feel everything. So yeah.
His buddy wearing the cardboard. It's the height of German technology type of the latest in military advancement. Like, all right. Just over and over, they managed to find good humor.
They really did.
I've read other accounts of people saying that they liked it, and then they thought that he lost the thread of what he was doing by the end. It was like, okay, I don't really. I
don't disagree, because at the end there's this unification between the girl, the boy, and the girl as a way of showing you, like, it's amazing what can happen when you don't lead with hate. I don't disagree at all. And then he kicks Hitler out. Like, he just kicks her out, which is great. All right. Well, anyway, that's each of our lists for our top 10 of 2019. Should we read them in case they're still doing graphics?
Sure.
Okay.
My number 10 is Apollo 11. 9 is Peanut Butter Falcon. 8 is Ford versus Ferrari. 7 is Avengers Endgame. 6, Joker. 5, Marriage Story. 4, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 3, Parasite. 2, 1917. And finally, number 1 is Jojo Rabbit.
Boom. My number 10 is The Last Black Man in San Francisco. 9, Little Women. 8, Ford versus Ferrari. 7, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 6, Avengers Endgame. 5, Jojo Rabbit. 4, The Irishman. 3, 3, Joker. 2, Parasite. And 1, 1917. All right, let's put this list together. Matt.
So 1917 is number 1.
Yep.
That's a 1-2.
Okay.
You got Jojo where? 4?
5.
5. Parasite is 2-3 then, so I would say Parasite.
Okay.
And then JoJo.
Okay.
I think would be.
Yeah, because Joker's lower, right?
Yeah, I've got him at 6.
Yeah.
And you got Joker where?
3.
And I think that beats Once Upon a Time because you have that, 7?
7 is Once Upon a Time.
Okay. Joker. So 4-7. Can we beat anything on that? Because Once Upon a Time then would take 5 on this list.
So JoJo's already on.
Gotcha.
Avengers Endgame is at 6. You're 5, right?
7.
Oh, 6 and 7. Okay. And Ford versus Ferrari is down there at 8. So
yeah, we got it lower. So all right, Once Upon a Time.
Okay. Where are we at?
Number 6.
Okay.
So I think that goes to Avengers.
Yeah, makes sense.
Ooh.
Okay. The Irishman is still up there for me at number 4.
Okay.
Are we there yet?
I think the last thing we have in common is Ford versus Ferrari.
Yes.
So say we just do that, get it out of the way.
Okay. And then Irishman after that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's fair.
Because that's the highest left of either of ours.
Okay.
I have Marriage Story at 5.
Yeah, that beats mine. I don't have anything else left above 5.
What's your next highest?
9.
too.
Little Women.
I got Peanut Butter Falcon.
Oh man.
I haven't seen Little Woman. Do you want to flip a coin?
We might have to. Is it the last one?
It is number 10.
Ooh, I feel like it's fair for us to flip the coin. I flipped last time, so feel free.
Good memory. I need to take the other coin out of. I got 2 coins. One is all right. This is the good one.
All right.
All right. Flipping it. Here we go.
Let's make it happen.
Ready?
Yep.
It's coming to you.
Oh, all right. That's yours. It's Batman.
Boom shakalaka Peanut Butter Falcon.
There you go. Nice.
There it is. There is our list of 10
All
for
right.
best of 2019.
Let's break it down. Are we ready?
Yep.
The top 10 films of 2019, yeah. At number 10.
A Peanut Butter Falcon.
At number 9.
Marriage Story.
At number 8.
The Irishman.
At number 7.
Ford versus Ferrari.
At number 6.
Avengers Endgame.
At number 5.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
At number 4.
Joker.
At number 3.
Jojo Rabbit.
At number 2.
Parasite.
And our number 1 film of 2019 is
1917.
That's right, 1917.
There it be. There it is. There it was.
There it
2019 in the books. Hopefully 2020 is as good as this year. 'Cause
Yeah.
I got others. I want to see. So the 2 we brought up, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I've heard nothing but good things about that. And Richard Jewell I haven't seen yet.
Oh, man, that's good. It almost made my top 10. It was so close.
All right, what about Uncut Gems?
I love Uncut Gems. I saw it over the weekend and saw Lighthouse as well. I really liked the
I haven't
Lighthouse.
seen that either.
Oh, man, I'm curious to see what you think. It's a visual film.
Okay.
And it's shot in 4:3, the whole film.
Oh, interesting.
So it's not 16:9. Yeah, I liked Lighthouse for what it was, and certainly enjoyed Uncut Gems. But I can understand why people don't like Lindley turned it on. She walked away half an hour.
Oh no, it's not fun.
No, but I liked it. It's like
So did I.
walking a razor's edge the whole
The
time.
thing is, I don't know if I'll ever see it again. That's
Oh,
why
yeah,
it
fair.
didn't make my list.
That's fair.
Nothing against it. It's just like, it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm never revisiting you. I just saw Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
Way better than I ever anticipated.
Really?
Way better.
Okay. It
How
didn't
do
get
you
the
make
best
a
reviews.
Yeah, how do you make a sequel to a movie that doesn't need a sequel?
Right.
And they managed to find a way that was
Okay.
interesting.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. There are numerous others. There's tons of good movies.
I still see The Nightingale. I haven't seen Knives Out yet.
That's good.
People
That
like
was
that
close.
one. Yeah?
That was
Okay.
close.
Yeah. I didn't think even if it was great, I didn't think it was going to threaten anything that was on my list already. So,
It might surprise you.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It had some really fun, interesting, funny moments, and it keeps you on your toes
Okay.
a nice amount.
Done and done.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. Well, that's our top 10 list of 2019. How do you want to end the show, Matt? Do we want to say anything? Is there anything more to say?
No, just look for us with the announcements on social media about the reimbursement. As soon as we have that, we will give that to you.
Yeah.
And we'll get that. And Houston, we are genuinely looking for a new venue, and we'll have some news on that front. London, we're coming May 2nd. Please hit up kingsplace.co.uk and grab those tickets now. And if you want to support us over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10, we thoroughly appreciate it. We got tons of fun stuff. And that Patreon content is coming in the very near future.
Yeah. And you can follow Matt at Matt Knost. You can follow me at The Rocha Says. I will say this on a personal note. You all know I've been let go from Collider. So shockingly, I started my own YouTube channel, and it's got up to over 10,000 subscribers in under a week, which is insane to me. Thank you all so much. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, trust me, there's a lot of content coming. It's youtube.com/John Rocha Says. They wouldn't give me The Rocha Says. So please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And also I have a Patreon, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Go and donate to help me put more content up on that channel. I've met with a gentleman who has a studio. We'll see where it goes from there, and all of that jazz. But stay with us with Top 10. We got a lot coming up this year, a lot for the patrons, a lot for the fans. A lot's going to happen that's going to be great for the Top 10 show. So thank you to everyone, and that's it.
That is it. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you guys. See you next week.